All right, Ian, we have the Patreon Q&A topic.
Bring.
You go to patreon.com/CU podcast. You can access the Discord and you get to choose on a topic. We also have a voice Q&A we can get back to at some point. So the runaway winner, Ian, this time out.
All right, so these were the questions. Do you miss cheesy bad games based on movies and TV shows? 20%. Have you ever had a person be nasty online only to be nice in person? Pat keeps putting that one up
It
there.
keeps being second place.
19%
falls
it's
off.
last place today. And is there a poorly received game that you defended as misunderstood?
61% runaway hit. This is going to be a tough one to answer.
All right.
I might have to go to a certain NES guide app to go through it. I've always defended. If you want to go back to the basic games that people always say are crap on the NES, I'm looking at it right now. Jaws is not a bad game.
I very much like Jaws, actually.
Jaws is a fun, semi-open game that's really like has RPG elements to it and decent action. It's fairly well made. It's actually developed by Atlas, I believe.
Yeah.
Did that one. Remember, LGN just published the shit. They didn't program any of this stuff. So Jaws is one that I constantly defend as not a bad game. I think I gave it 3 stars according to a certain NES guidebook. No, I can't support Akari Warriors, and where that one got worse and worse as I got older. Unfortunately,
No, Akari Warriors
is miserable on the NES.
Is butt trash. It's fucking
It's butt trash.
it's disgusting. That game is fucking filthy. So I have a few games.
Let me sort by bad games here. Let me see this.
So one is actually one we touched on at the start of this podcast, and it's one that I defended for a while because I mean I wouldn't say it was misunderstood. I wouldn't try to defend it necessarily against the allegations that it was shipped incomplete because it wasn't what was promised. But I really enjoyed No Man's Sky when it first came out. I very much enjoyed it. A lot of it was because I didn't pay attention to previews or hype. I just kind of heard about it and got an idea of what it was and decided that this would be something that I think I would like. And when I got it, it was a great way for me to relieve stress, even without half the things that were promised. I just did a lot of flying around and landing on the planets and walking around. And even the things that there were available to do, I didn't do a lot of them. I just made sure I could keep my life support systems up and running and, protection from whatever hazards were on that planet running. And I'd just take off and land and walk around and see what it looked like. And there was certainly enough variety, at least in the planet structure at that time, for me to do so. Whenever people would ask about the game at work, it was one of those ones that I couldn't exactly recommend it, but I always tried to explain to people why I liked it. And sometimes people bought it, and I always made sure I told them that they could exchange it if they needed to. And sometimes people came back, and sometimes people actually, said that they also enjoyed it. That was a game that fell in price pretty quick too. I think at one point going as low as maybe $15. So it wasn't a huge risk. A couple other games that always pop to my mind that I like that most people don't. I am a Deadly Towers defender for the NES.
That's right.
I like Deadly Towers. I like the music. I like the structure of the game. The enemies are stupid. There's some slinkies and some bouncy balls and a whole lot
puddle or something?
A puddle, yep. A whole lot of filler bullshit. Absolutely. Tons of bullshit. But I actually kind of like the game. It's not like amazing, but I think it's actually pretty fun. I like the layout and the enemy design. Some of the other enemy design is pretty good. And I only realized the other day that this one is not particularly liked, but I always liked it. Green Dog for the Sega Genesis. I like Green Dog.
I've never played it before.
The Beached Surfer dude. It's I think it's a US only release, or US and European. It might not be in Japan. It was done by one of the Sega schools, and it's a basic platformer. The sprite's big. The hitbox is a little unwieldy. Controls are decent. But it's got really nice graphics, and it's got pretty decent music. It's colorful. You have to travel to the seven islands to get rid of a cursed amulet. You attack with a frisbee. I like games with frisbee attacks.
Wally Bear?
I'm gonna get to Wally Bear. Yeah, don't worry.
Running out of games quick.
I like games with frisbee attacks. And then there's skateboard levels and rollerblade levels, and those can be a little bit harsh. But I played that game a lot as a kid, and I would still recommend that game to someone today. And then lastly, can't deny it, I like Wally Bear and the No Gang. I do. I like that game. It's bad, but
it's fun.
It's
There's a fun charm to it.
It's an okay. It's
still problematic, but it's
got its issues.
terrible.
But as far as a lot of those AVE and Comerica and all those unlicensed
it's not Raid
games
2020.
it's not Raid 2020. Nothing is. Holy shit! Raid 2020 is
miserable.
so bad. So
I don't know if it's derided, but Nightmare on Elm Street is all I've seen derided. That's actually a good game.
It's
on NES.
It's pretty good.
It's the best you're gonna do on an NES R-rated movie horror port. And it's 4 players, and it really builds in different elements from the film and going into the different Dream Warriors.
It really captures the Dream Warriors part of the game.
There are some horror elements for you have to wake up for Freddy comes and Freddy's coming. That's a quality game. I like that a lot better than the Friday the 13th game. A lot better.
Yeah.
That one's a little bit of a mess to me. That Friday the 13th one.
Friday the 13th game was a great idea, just executed horribly. The Nightmare on Elm Street one is a good idea. I don't think it's as cool of an idea, but it's executed way better.
I think it's a cool idea. You got to explore around, go into the different houses.
Yeah, it's all around executed better.
That's about it. I'm trying to look at TurboGrafx games that are derided. No, Battle Royale shit. And I just didn't realize that as a kid. Battle Royale was
Battle Royale.
Not many Turbo games to say that you have to defend because there aren't that many that bad TurboGrafx games that you can bring up. JJ and Jeff I haven't played in a long time. I forget if that's how bad that one was, for example. But okay. Well, thanks for the question out there. We have the question. Thanks for voting on the question.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/CUPodcast.